Hey, this is Pamela Schneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. Back in the office. So are you. You were in LA this week, right?
I was doing some visits, came back with some lemons. My
Yeah,
lemons are going to be in
lemon.
all my drinks for the next couple weeks.
Now you've got the Limonera sheep rapping about clean energy. That is
Uh, there's a good reason to see that again. Yes, I saw
that
the whole field of solar. It was beautiful.
yeah, lemons. Well, back here in the office, we had a couple of different themes. And I really feel like I just run down them really quick because this week's news and this week's news releases for me were kind of like the food industry, the produce industry is kind of in a growth mode. And we haven't seen this kind of stuff you remember back in the day when it was like another $50 million every week that went into some kind of venture of some sort. And that all kind of dried up for a little while.
Yeah.
But we've seen a bunch this week. We saw Mastronardi acquiring the full ownership of Berry Worlds. Um, Subtle request, grow some of those berries here in Texas because, yeah, they're delicious. Um, we saw Cochin La Rose expand to Ontario with an acquisition. They acquired Veg Pack Produce. We saw Baldor open a new facility in Washington, D.C. That's a huge growth area for that company. We saw
They
Bright
have all that
Farms.
they have all that money now from all the melon drinks at the US Open.
Yes. They do a lot of really innovative stuff at Baldor, and I need to find myself on a tour of one of their facilities one of these days because I got to get in there. And I haven't spent a ton of time up in the Northeast, and now sounds like a great time, I guess. So we got Bright Farms open a new facility in Chicagoland. Um, we have Pairwise. Pairwise is the genetic editing firm that does a bunch of different things. They do conscious screens, and then the newer thing that they launched this summer is seedless blackberries. They're working on pitless cherries. They're working with CRISPR technology, and I think one of the really interesting things about the last couple of news releases that we've gotten from them is the last one was an investment from Bayer, and now we've got another investment from Corteva and a joint venture from Corteva. So they're working with big ag on some of this stuff. So those are definitely things to keep your eyes on. And then automation. Um, we saw the National Avocado Day stuff dropped this week for September 16th is Mexican Independence Day, but also National Guacamole Day.
Right.
And so Chipotle is talking about its avocado. What I thought was really funny about that news release is the photo that they gave us with it is a guy with a bowl of avocados, and it doesn't really look like a robot doing it. But this is 2 times this week I saw the term cobot, or what is it called? Like it's like a new fake word describing some kind of robot thingy. Um, and it's not something that I had seen before, cobotics or something like that.
So what does that mean exactly?
It's some kind of, it's a robot. Like, what is a cobot? Cobotics, whatever. I don't know what it means, but the augmented make line and the avocado, actually the avocado kind of seems pretty cool because it takes the avocado approximately 26 seconds to fully flesh out the fruit inside an avocado. 20, 20, I really need to do a video. I gotta see how long it takes me to flesh out an avocado because I have a feeling it's less than 26 seconds.
Well, if you're doing one, they're doing like 30 and then put them in a bowl or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing volume. It's kind of the same thing where we talk about when we talk one of the biggest money and labor savings that you can have in a kitchen is peeled onions. And it seems so basic, but onions can take forever because they're like the backbone of almost all food service recipes. Any kind of savory dish, it's got to have some onions in it. Um, and so I can peel an onion. It doesn't take me that long, but I can't peel a 50-pound sack of onions without going crazy. You know? So that's a quality of life issue for the
Yeah,
folks
well,
that
you're
work in the
also
kitchen.
cooking for four, not for 100.
Right? And then we also saw a more investment in one of those little robot arms that picks in a warehouse that is designed for fruit. Um, so all really interesting things, all really kind of that on that vein of pushing forward, investing, and new technology. So that was the theme I saw this week.
Yeah, right after you went to an expo and saw a bunch of new stuff there.
Innovations,
Yeah.
yes.
And then we're less than a month from the big show in Atlanta, where we're going to see a bunch of new stuff.
One of my favorite booths, because we spoke last week before I had gone to the expo. And so Southern Innovations is a lot smaller than the Southern Exposure, just by the nature of it was a newer show. It hasn't been around as long, about 200 booths. And I had plenty of time to pretty much see almost everything. There was a few things that I noticed afterward that I might have missed. But one of my favorite things was so basic. And I probably would not have stopped at a bigger show. And this kind of just shows you the difference between a big show and a little show. Fresh Express. You know how they have that new hot or cold noodle thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had the news release about it. First of all, a Korean flavor. And that was
Yeah.
part of the
Trend you saw coming.
trend I saw coming. Pat myself on the back on that one. But when you tried it at their booth, there was like this dual trough bowl thing, and I didn't pay any attention. And most of the people that I talked to who tried it as well didn't pay any attention to all of the stuff. One side was hot, one side was cold. And so it was showing you that the exact same flavor profile, the exact same ingredients, served hot or cold, are a completely different experience. Completely different. And it's so simple, but it's like if they had given me the option to pick hot or cold, I wouldn't have got it. I wouldn't have got the thing, the overarching idea. And by virtue of it being a small show, and that it wasn't the giant Fresh Express booth that you see at IFPA. It was a different experience. It was a completely different experience. And I tried both hot and cold, and I liked them. I think I liked the hot better than the cold, which surprised me.
So does that mean that as a consumer that you might find something similar to that and try it hot?
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, when Carrie Ann was with Dole and they had the chopped salad kits, somebody in one of the education sessions in one of these shows mentioned stir frying one of those things. And she's like, yeah, a lot of people don't think about the fact that you can stir fry the chopped salad. That's the cabbagey one. And it was kind of a light bulb went off, and it kind of like went off and it dimmed, and I forgot about it because I never tried it at a show. So there you go.
Now you'll remember it. And then we also have this fun piece that I wrote a column on, based on a Gallup poll. It's called a Work and Education Survey. And what they did is they asked consumers about their feelings towards certain US industries and then compare them year over year. So we have 2004 versus 2024 versus 2023. And it's really interesting to see where these industries fit on this list and who's growing and who's shrinking. It's cool to see that the number one industry in this list is farming and agriculture. It is at the very top, and it increased, was it 5 percentage points from 59 to 64 in the last year. So that's really good. I think people have an awesome association with farming and agriculture, and people care where their food comes from. And I think especially the produce industry has been talking about that for a long time, trying to highlight their roots and their farming and getting to know the farmer. But the downside of it, there are some other industries in here that are getting crushed. Like restaurants are still high. They're the third largest on here, but they dropped the largest of any industry in this group. They dropped 9 percentage points, and I'm sure that is from consumer perception of price increases and the problems with labor. The experience costs more and it's not as good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people's favorable, so net favorability, which was like positive or very positive, was still 52%. And I think that's that part of like, I don't have to cook. Somebody else is thinking for me. I can get whatever I want at a restaurant. All of that stuff is good. But according to Circana research, you're paying 4 times more at a restaurant than you are making your food at home. I may have had that wrong in one of the blurbs this week. I typed it wrong. So I thank you to one of our readers for pointing that one out. Appreciate it. Oh, always happy to have criticism. But
Okay, so groceries on here too, and they didn't
groceries,
fall far as retail, but they fell hard. They went from a 41% favorability to 33%. So 8 percentage point drop in 1 year. People have, I mean, they are not happy about grocery prices. And we have to say, in the past couple of months, as overall inflation growth has cooled, it's cooled even more in food. And if you really think about perishables, I mean, like we talked about last week, produce, fruits and vegetables in July, no, August? Yes, August. Year over year were lower. So they
mhm,
literally shrinking, prices shrinking. That is not happening hardly anywhere. And
yeah.
that's a positive statement. So consumers should be seeing this. And if retailers are continuing to raise prices in the produce department and saying inflation, like that's not the case. That shouldn't be the case.
It's kind of a hollow market, and people aren't willing to just take it anymore on some of this stuff. I think we're seeing people um contract their grocery lists and saying, well, I mean, I just cannot afford this. And they're fighting back against the shrinkflation. We cautioned, don't try to squeak by that shrinkflation. Don't try to just kind of just let it happen and not tell anyone. No one's fooled by this.
Yeah.
And we're increasingly unhappy with it. I would like to point out that in this list of industries and sectors that they have here, um, grocery was below airlines and below, let's see, telephones and internet. I mean, how happy are most people with their internet service provider?
Banking.
Banking, yeah. Only thing, let's see, healthcare was below it, publishing,
Well, there were
uh,
lots of things below it, yes.
pharmaceuticals was at the bottom. So
Yeah, right. They were tied with advertising PR. People are sick of pharmaceutical ads. I think we can, like,
you, you know where I see the most pharmaceutical ads is during sports when you're watching sports on TV, and it's pretty bad. But you know what's not got a unfavorable sports was one of the things that had the highest jump in
not one
favorability.
of, it had the highest jump. It jumped from 31 to 42. 9 percentage points was the highest. And they even in the write-up of this, they attributed some of it to the Olympics, which the USA did well and it was fun
I thought
generally.
the coverage was great. The social media part of that, I think, really added to people's favorable experience.
Yeah. That and if you're a fan of a sport, you can find it anywhere now and for free. I mean, I use YouTube TV and I could just search through the list and record all of a sport. Like I really like the court volleyball, for instance, men and women. I liked field hockey.
Hmm.
So I could watch as much of it as I wanted, and that's not something you could do 10 years ago.
I really liked that court handball stuff. That was fascinating, and they showed me all of the court handball that I wanted. I did not see enough water polo. Water polo is one of those ones that I do. I don't watch water polo except during the Olympics. It is my summer curling.
Really? I tried
Yes.
watching it was it was too boring for me. Team handball was more fun.
Yeah, rugby was great, but the other one that I really think, they're talking about the Olympics, but we're ignoring the 6'5", 250 pound tight end dating Taylor Swift. Um, part of the equation. And I really do think that this is a whole new audience, especially for the NFL, that is a favorable boost to sports. Think about all of the little girls that started watching football because their favorite pop star would be on the TV every once in a while. I cannot help but think that there's a Taylor Swift boost in this favorability opinion of sports. And it's just there, and you can't deny it. And the hater's gonna hate, but I don't care.
I agree. I agree. That's part of it. Sports concentrating on the entertainment aspect, and lots of sports are doing it. I mean, you could put in Caitlin Clark effect. No one watched WNBA,
Oh yeah.
and now you have a likable star in the league. Or you could point to baseball cutting 20 to 30 minutes out of every game by eliminating all this wandering around and instituting a pitch clock. That's made baseball so much better. And we're coming up on October, and watching a game in 2 hours and 20 minutes versus 3.5 hours in the playoffs, that's a huge difference. I mean, all these sports are doing things that are more entertaining and also less divisive. They're not participating as much in things outside their sports, things that could be hot button issues, things that make people mad. They're concentrating on things that make people happy.
And
Maybe
I
some
think
other industries should look at that. I mean, it's not a crazy thing. If you're in the entertainment business, entertain me.
right, they're doing a great job of it. But the key takeaway for me, at least, let's circle it back to
Okay.
what grocery can take away from this is lean in hard to them farms. I mean, if farming and agriculture has the highest favorability by far on this list, then they need to connect to the farm, and the produce department is the best place to do it. Because no one feels bad about fruits and vegetables and the idea of growing fruits and vegetables and the romance of it. I mean, I have not gotten my props department lately. That has been sitting on my desk for forever, but I finally got my son to build my Lego fruit stand.
Oh, nice.
It's got a little carrot on top. It's a little like truck. It's got a farm that goes with it and everything. I mean, it's just cute to be associated with fruits and vegetables. I mean, who wouldn't love that?
Yes.
So, yeah. I got grapes and corn and peppers growing in my little field here with my little farmer and the rabbit trying to eat it all. Um, but seriously, who would have thought that this would have been a Lego set, 15 years ago? You know,
That's pretty
embrace
cool.
the farm.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, that's it for the Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up.
Lemons. Yo, singing lemons. That's right. Lemons.